Hey, good morning, my friends. Welcome. It's the J Talk Morning Show once again. Glad to have you back here with me, and running a few minutes behind, but that's okay. Whenever I show up, I'm right on time. If you're watching this on the recording, I probably showed up before you did. How's that? All right, so it's great to be back with you once again for another episode of the J Talk Morning Show, where we talk about life and we talk about leadership and how the two come together, in our personal life and our professional development. So it's great to be with you once again. I am Jay Goff, your host for the J Talk Morning Show, and we're going to kick this baby off. Let's not forget let's see, boom. Okay, there we go. Ooh, I did not fade it out. Okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. Fade in, fade out. That's how that's supposed to be. Like, oops. Anyway, we're live, folks. And I love doing the live. I love doing the bloopers. Hey, when I mess up, I fess up, okay? When I mess up, I fess up, and I just show it to you just like it is. This is in the raw. This is not edited, and it's very intentional. We've done videos where we go in, we clip, we edit, we add, we take out. For the J Talk Morning Show, I want this to be truthful and authentic for you, the listener, the viewers, the watchers, the subscribers, because I believe that leadership is authentic. And if I'm going to lead well, I've got to show up in the way that expresses that authenticity. So anyway, yeah, we're going to have some mess ups once in a while, but you know what? Every time you mess up, you fess up and you laugh it up. You just laugh it up. You just chalk it up to a learning and a teaching experience. Okay, so let's start off with some Java in the morning. Good morning, America. My routine every morning is when I come downstairs and I get my coffee. My wife brings me my coffee a lot of times. Sometimes it's a race to see who can get who the coffee first. Okay. But I wake up in the morning, I step outside, get my coffee, say, good morning, Father. Good morning, America. Good morning, Missouri. And just have my sip of coffee. I always love to do that in the morning. Kind of give an eyewitness report to what the weather's going to be too for the day, starting off anyway. And get some of that deep breathing, get some air, some outside air. You've been cooped up in the house all night. Get outside, get some fresh air. All right. So today, the topic is, I want to share with you about matching your actions and your words with what your belief system is. Do they match? Do they correspond? Do your actions match your words? Do your words and your actions match your belief systems? Does your belief system match them? Do they all coincide? I was inspired by a story I read just this morning, actually, and there we go. And I thought, man, this would be a good one. I think I'm going to share. So I had reposted it actually with a slight commentary on my Facebook, but I thought this would be a good one to talk about. Let's talk about this. Sometimes we have expectations of serving, but when somebody comes to be served, we look the other way. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're a person who wants to do good, but when the opportunity shows up to the people that need it most, you kind of shy away from that. You turn away. You're like, I don't know. They just don't look right to me, or they don't dress right, or they don't act right, or they don't believe like I believe. That's a biggie. So I thought I'd share this with you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read this to you. Now, I know it was a copy shared post that somebody did. It's usually the case in so many of these. And folks, let me tell you something. I'm not one of those guys that will copy, paste, and share post that says, if you want to have a better success or you want to be truly blessed, share this. And I don't know. I mean, my life is not hinging on whether or not I share a post. Okay. It doesn't. Maybe yours does. I don't know. If you do, congratulations, you figured it out. I don't know. But for me, I don't share the stuff because I'm afraid that suddenly the roof's going to fall in on my head if I don't. Okay. I just can't understand the mindset of people that do that. I don't get it. But, to each his own, right? So, but this story really inspired me this morning. I've heard this story before, and I thought, why not share this today? Because I believe that we have a situation, not a situation, we have moments in our lives where our belief systems and sometimes the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we portray ourselves, isn't really true to who we authentically are. Now, this story is a spiritual based story. So if that's not your thing, that's okay. Just learn and grow from it. I'm not going to hit you over the head with the Bible. And that's a topic for another day. People that come at you saying with the Bible slapping you up upside the head. Folks, Jesus didn't win anybody by slapping them up upside the head. Okay? He didn't go up to John and to Matthew and to Mark and Matthias. He didn't go up to him and hit him in the head and say, boom, listen to me. He did not. You want to get to heaven? Boom. That's not the way. It never was the way. It should never have become the way. Unfortunately, many people, that's what they do. And that will never win hearts. Winning hearts is actually touching the heart. Okay. Not slapping up beside the head with a big, thick Bible. But so this story it definitely has a biblical context to it. But I think it's something we can all really learn from and apply. So I'm going to read this story to you word for word, and but I want you to listen to it. So listen to this. Let me get my best audiobook voice. All right, so here it is. Okay, first of all, I want you to see this image of this gentleman. Okay, I'm bringing this up. This is the story of a gentleman who looks like this. Okay. Now you've got an image. You've got an image. What's your first thought? What is your first thought? Think about that. Okay, I'm going to read the story to you. His name is Bill. He has wild hair, wears a t-shirt with holes in it, jeans, and no shoes. This was literally his wardrobe for his entire 4 years of college. He's a brilliant, kind of esoteric, and very, very bright. He became a Christian while attending college. Across the street from the campus is a well-dressed, very conservative church. You know where I'm going here. They want to develop a ministry to the students, but are not sure how to go about it. One day, Bill decides to go there. He walks in with no shoes, jeans, his t-shirt, and wild hair. The service had already started, and so Bill starts down the aisle looking for a seat. And the church is completely packed, and he can't find a seat. There's no chair for Bill in the church. By now, people are really looking a bit uncomfortable, but no one says anything. Okay, you've been there. I've been there. Whether in a church, in a restaurant, in a store, on the street, we've all been there. We've all been there where we have judged somebody based upon their appearance. See, these people didn't know this person's heart. All they saw was the cover. That's what they saw. And we do that. And we've got to learn to catch ourselves in those moments. Now, am I perfect at that? No. I've gotten better at it, but I'm not perfect at doing that. And I've learned that we don't know the story. We don't know the story that somebody is living into. We don't know the story that people are living out of, coming from. We don't know their story. All we see is a book cover. We see a cover. What we don't see and know is the content of the person inside. Can you tell everything about a book by the cover? No, you can't. You cannot judge a book by its cover. You've heard it. Don't judge a book by its cover. But we still do it. Why? Because we are human. We're all human. Pinch yourself. Yeah, ouch, it hurts. You're human. We are frail beings. So we've all done that. All right. Let's see. By now, people are really looking a bit uncomfortable, but no one says anything. Bill gets closer and closer and closer to the pulpit. Now he's walking down the aisle looking for a seat. He keeps getting closer to the pulpit. And when he realizes there's no seats, he just squats down right on the carpet. Although perfectly acceptable behavior at a college fellowship, trust me, this had never happened in this church before, in parentheses. By now, the people are really uptight, and the tension in the air is thick. About this time, the minister realizes that from way at the back of the church, a deacon is slowly making his way toward Bill. Woo, you know what's coming. Now, the deacon is in his 80s, and he has silver gray hair and wears a three-piece suit. He is a godly man, very elegant, very dignified, and very courtly. He walks with a cane, and as he starts walking toward this boy, everyone is thinking that you can't blame him for what he's going to do. See, now we're going into the thought process, once again, judging a book by its cover. We're looking at the elderly pastor and we're thinking he's godly, he's saintly, and he's about to correct this young man. And he's about to ask this young man to leave the church. This is what everybody's thinking, even though deep in their hearts, there's a slight flicker of conviction saying, what am I doing? I am not being who I profess to represent and who I profess to be. I'm not accepting this person. I want to connect with this person where they're at. No, you want them to connect with you where you're at. And so the overarching lesson in this talk this morning is, how are you connecting with those around you? Do you expect them to be like you, to dress like you, to believe like you in order to make a connection? Let me go on. Take a coffee sip right now. All right, now put your coffee cup down. Okay, so he walks with a cane. He starts walking toward the boy. Everyone's thinking that you can't blame him for what he's about to do. How can you expect a man of his age and of his background to understand some college kid on the floor? It takes a long time for the man to reach the boy. The church is utterly silent except for the clicking of the man's cane. All eyes are focused on him. You can't even hear anyone breathing. The minister can't even preach the sermon until the deacon does what he has to do. Now, this is an elderly man. He's walking down the aisle. He's a deacon. It means he's in a position of not just authority, but of high standard, high regard, high respect. People respect a deacon. And they've already decided what they think he's going to do. And now they witness this elderly gentleman drop his cane on the floor. Let's go the cane. And with considerable effort, he lowers himself and settles down next to Bill, joining him in worship so he won't be alone. Woo! Okay, I may need a moment here. Okay, that gets me. That gets me. Joining him in worship so he won't be alone. Bill felt alone, but Bill came. Bill came to the worship. Bill came to learn, to grow, to develop, to get closer to God and to get closer to Christ and get closer to people who are Christians. Even though he knew and felt and was probably very aware that all the eyes were on him and he was being judged. And he still had the courage to show up. Whew. Everyone chokes up with emotion. Ooh, Now it clicks. When the minister gains control, he says, "What I'm about to preach," the preacher says this. Okay, well, let me go back here. Everyone chokes up with emotion. They didn't choke up with emotion because Bill came into the church. They choked up with emotion because the elderly man had compassion upon this young man. You see, their eyes was not focused on Bill. Their eyes was focused on the elderly man. Still a fail, but we're progressing. And they had taken their eyes off of Christ. They had taken their eyes off the Lord. Had they kept their eyes and their heart on the Lord, Bill would never have been an issue. Bill would never have been a concern. Bill never should have been an issue or a concern. But we do that. I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. Let's be authentic. Let's be real. Let's be true to ourselves. We judge people by the cover. We don't know the story inside. Get to know people. So the pastor goes on and says, the minister gains control and he says, "What I'm about to preach, you will never remember. But what you have just seen, you will never forget. Be careful how you live. You may be the only Bible some people will ever read." With that, I'm going to share this young man's face again. This is the young man that everybody in the church judged. This is the young man that everybody stopped what they were doing and focused on this young man. Remember the John the Baptist? John the Baptist probably make this kid look like a professional businessman, right? And we have to be conscious of our actions. We have to be conscious of our words. We have to be conscious of our belief system. We have to be conscious of our purpose and our reason to be on this place called Earth, which is a very temporary place. Like I said, I don't know your belief system, and I'm not here to preach at you. Okay. This is not a sermon, but this is a lesson in the fact that I think we need to be more aware and more intentional about how am I looking at that person and why am I judging them based on the cover? We are judged, rightfully so, on our actions. We are judged, rightfully so, on our words. What we say to people and how we show up, what we say and how we show up, is the basis for people to judge us. What we say and what we do. And we all have a belief system. Everybody has a belief system. And in this case, a spiritual belief system. And we tend to judge somebody else for their belief. If we ever get confused, and I'm speaking to Christians here, okay? If you're of a different faith, Hinduism, Islam, you have your studies. What does your book say about judging people? What does it say about loving people? If you remember in this book that Christians read, the Bible, Paul talks about in the letters of, eating the foods that he was forbidden to eat, but to connect with people, he ate the foods, he drank the drink, he slept where they were at, he gathered where they were at. Why? He was going to connect with them. If this church really wanted to connect with the students across the street, they would have done what they could to connect with them, which means probably loosening the collar a little bit. We got to bring them into the fold. And you don't do that by making them feel unqualified to even step in the door. How are we showing up in the life of other people? Do people feel unqualified to approach you? Do they feel that they will be automatically judged? mischaracterized, maybe misunderstood, if they were to come to you, what are you projecting? What are you projecting to the world? Do your actions speak louder than your words? Do your words speak louder than your actions? Do they display your belief? Do they display your character? What's the character you're going for? What's the image you want to project to the world? What's your legacy you want to leave behind? What is it you want people to really think about you when you're gone? If everyone was to be honest at a wake, at your funeral, and they were to share their stories about you, what would they really say if they had to take a truth pill? They had to tell the truth. They couldn't avoid it. They might try to bite their tongue off to not say the things they really think about you. They say all the time, well, it doesn't matter what people think about me. Well, or you don't care what people think about you. I think that we do care about what people think about us. That's why we do half the things we do. We don't do some of the things we don't do. We think that people may put us down if we pursue a dream. We think that. And then sometimes we pursue a dream and then we say, well, I don't care what they think about me. We do things projecting an image because we truly do want people. Maybe it's just some people, certain people, like our loved ones, our family, the ones closest to us. What do they think about us? Ask yourself that. What do they think about me? Now, some of us have made huge mistakes in our past, but we've gone, we've grown, we've progressed, we've gotten the help we needed, we are successful, we are helping others. But the people in the past may still remember you as that person and think you haven't changed. These are the ones that, while their opinions do matter, they shouldn't become your reality. They're holding on to the past while you're moving on forward. So other people are judging you based upon the personal experiences with you. And maybe they've seen you do something. Maybe they've heard that you did something. Maybe they weren't even directly impacted by anything you ever did, but they heard about it. We all know that gossip is a sin, first of all, but gossip serves nobody well. And without knowing the truth about somebody, their story, all you know is the cover. You might know a little information on the inside flap, but you don't know the full story. Every book I have, and you have, you can look and you can read about the author. But that's not going to give you everything there is to know about that author. It's not. An author can write a biography, right, about their lives. They can write that, an autobiography. But there's going to be a lot of things that's not in that book that tells their full story. Some of us that are in the industry to help and encourage and lift people up and to give them hope have lived tremendously horrific lives in our past. Many have had things done to them, many things they have done to others. But one day something clicked and they turned around. They realized how they were being judged by their cover. I love this story about Bill coming in to a church, lots of lessons, courage, surrendering, strength on his behalf, representing truth, authenticity on behalf of the elder, the deacon, awareness, maybe slap in the face for those in the congregation. These are things, there's lots of lessons to be learned from this one story. What does this story say to you? What did that story say to you? What in your heart said, aha, aha, that's me. That's me. What in that story said, ouch, made you say, ouch? Okay. Hopefully, with this story, I inspired you to think about that today. Hopefully, with this story, I was able to cause you to do some reflection. Reflect on your life. Reflect on how you show up. Reflect on the words you say to people. Reflect on your actions. And inaction is also an action. Doing nothing is still doing something. Okay. So, what are your actions that projects and communicates that you're better than they are? I like to say that none of us is better than the other. Just some of us are better off in some ways than others, but none of us are better than others. You may be better off because you have a home, better off than the person who has no home in the context of having shelter. But are you better off than they are in their spirit if you yourself are troubled? You see, we all have a story. We have things in our lives. We have things we're struggling through. We have things we've been victorious over. Other people do too. People matter. People matter. And you get to be the person to let them feel that, let them to believe that. The person you walk by every day at the office and you never say a word to them because you don't like their personality or you just don't like their way they dress or they look or whatever. What if you were just to turn around and say, hey, good morning. Good morning, Bill. It's good to see you, Bill. What would happen? I know it's happened by my personal experience. Sometimes I say hi to somebody I may not have ever said hi to before, and I get to learn more about them. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty cool guy. This is a pretty smart lady. That supervisor isn't quite as bad as I thought they were. A lot of times we base our perspective on people based upon somebody else's perspective on that person. And that other person may not have ever had any true, real experience with this individual that they're talking bad about. I hear it all the time. I hear it every day. I hear gossip. This person's bad. That person's bad. That's bad. Okay, well, what makes them bad? And do you really know the person? You may know the position they hold, but do you know the person behind the position? So, folks, I hope that inspires you today. I hope that'll get you thinking. I hope that'll cause you to take action today in the ways that express your character, your true character. And if it is not positive, not in a good way, then you want to make sure to do a check. So what do I need to do to improve? Let me look at the comments real quick. John, Catherine, good morning, guys. Great to see you guys. Catherine saying good morning to John. I like that. All right. See, we're making connections here, folks, making connections. John, yes, sir. I have always been judged. Makes you stronger if you let it. Makes you stronger if you let it. Okay. I'm not sure if that makes you stronger by knowing you're being judged. I think it makes you stronger if you know how to take the judgment and turn it into a positive. Maybe it inspires you to do more, to be more, to become better. It's kind of like a, how do you like me now kind of case, and we've always been judged. All of us have been judged in some way and still are. Catherine, I had someone send me a video when I was heavily under the influence. Okay, I'm going to pop this up there, Catherine. You shared it with me. So I had someone send me a video when I was heavily under the influence while I was doing karaoke, which the caption, I remember when you used to be fun. I gave that person their eviction notice. My changes are for the good. I love that. Eviction notice. Hey, Catherine, you've been listening, my girl. You've been listening. Thank you. That is awesome. Folks, hand out those eviction notices. If they're in your inner circle and they're holding you back or don't believe in your future, eviction notice, okay? That is so cool. Congratulations to you. That's great. I love that. That's good news for the day. All right, my friends. So that's what I got for you today. Make sure to check us out every single weekday. Get down here. There we go. Right here on the J Talk Morning Show. We have topics where we always talk about life and leadership and help you become a better personal leader so you can be a better positional leader for others and increase your influence and impact on the world. So let's live our legacy today, because the legacy that we leave behind is how we're going to be remembered. And think about today's lesson. I think we can all do some reflecting on today's lesson. So God bless you. I'll see you next time. And remember, get up, get out, and get at it. God bless you. Bye-bye.